everyone, and welcome to the Wesleyan Bible Holiness Church for our 2022 Christmas drama, Sons and Heirs. Thank you so much for coming to this performance. I'm Rachelle Ferguson, who wrote the play you're about to watch, and I want to quickly share with you the inspiration behind this story. Sons and Heirs really tells two different stories, but there's a surprising number of parallels between them. On the one hand, the play is about Jonathan, the friend of David from Old Testament times. He was the prince of Israel, Saul's son, who graciously gave up his rights to the throne so that David could become king instead. On the other hand, our drama is about Elizabeth, mother of John the Baptizer, the kinsman and herald of Jesus. Elizabeth experienced a miracle from God when she bore John in her old age, and she rejoiced in God's blessing without clinging to it or trying to control it. John would grow up in the wilderness, a kind of outcast or renegade, sacrificing everything to the service of God's kingdom, and eventually giving his life for it. John's words about Christ, "He must increase, but I must decrease," we can see embodied in these other lives as well. Elizabeth's deference to Mary as mother of the Messiah, Mary's own humble surrender to the will of God, Jonathan's efforts to promote David's interests at the cost of his own, and David's selfless respect for Jonathan. Ultimately, each of these faithful followers of God are examples of Christ-likeness in their humility and their love. Their lives should remind us of Jesus, who, as Paul writes in Philippians, though he was in the form of God, did not consider equality with God a thing to be held on to, but emptied himself by taking the form of a servant, being born in the likeness of men. This is the Christmas story, God descending, making himself of no reputation out of love for us. And we hope that our drama this evening will shed a little light on the beauty of what God does for us and in us. This evening we will start in ancient Israel in the palace of the young King Saul, but interspersed throughout the drama are scenes in the home of Elizabeth, shortly before the birth of Christ, which happened 1,000 years after Saul's reign. There will also be a short intermission after scene 4, but we will keep that as brief as we can. At this time, if you would take a moment to turn off or silence your cell phones so that they don't interrupt the performance, we would greatly appreciate it. Thank you again for being here, and we hope you enjoy this performance of Sons and Heirs, our prequel to the Nativity story.
Well, what could have gone wrong?
Who knows? Strange things happen in war.
But the last news we heard was so hopeful. I thought the Philistines were routed.
They must have regrouped, I suppose. No, Ephrath, I told you almonds. Take these back.
Father's not even going to eat anything if he's upset, will he?
Maybe not, but he wouldn't have sent a herald if he didn't want us to prepare for his coming.
I guess Jonathan may eat something. He's always hungry.
Unless he's too tired, he may want nothing but rest.
Well, I hope not. I'd like for him to stay up and tell us what's happened.
Hall, they've had a grueling day. Battle, perhaps, this morning and a journey through the hills. We mustn't besiege them with questions. There, that's better. Now, are the last of the oranges gone?
Yes, my lady.
That is a shame.
Suppose this must suffice.
All right. You go wait in the scullery, and I'll call for you later. Actually, you can just go back to bed. Tirza can clean up.
Thank you, my lady.
Poor thing, she won't get much sleep. It's probably only 3 hours till dawn.
Well, I don't know why I feel so alert right now. I suppose.
Do you hear someone shouting?
Well,
I think I'll defer to you on that.
John.
Michal, mother.
Son, welcome. Abner, well met.
Thank you, milady. I'll make the proper arrangements.
Good.
Where's your father?
He is berating the gatekeeper.
Why?
He needed someone to shout at.
What has happened to put him in this mood?
Everything. First, he was mad at me, and then at the Philistines, and then at the Lord himself. But the final blow came from Samuel.
Samuel the prophet? Does he foresee a Philistine victory?
I don't know about that. Maybe I can tell you what he said later.
The insolence of that good-for-nothing. You heard him. What kind of respect was that to show one's king?
I suppose I wouldn't call it disrespect so much as ignorance.
Oh, of course. You no longer respect me either.
That's not
I've forgotten.
That's not true, Father. I honor you.
You seek nothing but your own glory at my expense.
Saul, is now the time for this.
Are you on his side? Huh? Your son thinks he's better than his own father. Do you think he's right?
I don't believe Jonathan elevates himself.
Well, he sure does everything he can to humiliate me. And I won't stand for it.
Saul, wait.
I've spoken my mind.
I'll try to talk with him later.
We leave again at sunrise.
Then you should rest while you can.
I'm not sure I'll be able to.
Well, aren't you tired?
A restless spirit can rob even a weary man of sleep.
Well, here, would you like to sit for a while and talk, or are you hungry?
I am. I'm sorry you prepared all this for Father, and he didn't even notice.
It was for you, too.
Thank you.
Would it ease your mind to tell us what's been happening? Of course, we'll leave you be if you prefer.
I'm not even sure where to begin.
Well, the last we knew, things were going well. And it seems like today that everything's changed.
Did the army meet a setback, and that's what put Father in such a bad temper?
This is what's maddening. It was really a victory that set him on a downhill course.
Well, yes, we heard that he defeated a Philistine garrison.
Well, that isn't strictly true. He didn't, but I did.
Well, weren't you together?
No, he had taken 2,000 men to Bethel, and I stayed at Gibeah with half that many. And then, a few weeks ago, my men attacked the Philistine camp by night, and we crushed them. And then when Father heard about it, he sent out heralds to spread the word among the people that King Saul had won a great victory over the Philistines.
So he took credit for your victory?
The king's army won the victory, you could say.
It didn't even bother me when I first heard it, because despite what he says, I'm not seeking glory. It doesn't matter who led them into victory. But then, when I saw him next, at Gilgal, I realized it did matter to him.
To his reputation.
Right. I don't think he was actually jealous of my triumph, at least not then. He just wants his name attached to victory to secure his respect among the people.
Well, what do you mean he wasn't jealous then?
I don't know. Only things have not gone well since then. The enemy is much stronger than we thought. They've marshaled 30,000 chariots, and our men have been deserting left and right.
Oh, deserting?
Some men crossed the Jordan. We think others are hiding in the caves.
How many remain?
About 600. It gets worse. Father became desperate. He sent for the prophet to come and make an offering to seek God's favor, and Samuel said he would come in 7 days. But by the evening of the 7th day, he had not come.
When was this?
2 days ago, Father panicked and did the worst thing he could have done. He decided to make the sacrifice himself, a burnt offering and a peace offering.
Without any priest?
Yes. Our men were deserting left and right, and our numbers were shrinking every day while the enemies grew, and he felt he could not wait on Samuel any longer, or on the Lord.
He usurped the role of the priest.
And not just that, but his whole reason for the sacrifice. I thought it was wrong.
It was out of fear?
It was just working the system. He wanted to bribe God to help us win the war. It was all wrong, from first to last.
What happened after the offering?
Well, he didn't even get to the peace offering. He sacrificed a bull and let it burn through the night. And then, early this morning, at the very time he was removing the ashes, the prophet arrived.
He came after all? Was he angry?
I wouldn't say angry as much as disappointed. He rebuked Father sternly, said he'd been a fool for violating God's instructions for sacrifice.
It's true.
But I think he pitied Father as well, because he had to break some hard news to him. The Lord was not pleased by Father's sacrifice.
Is he to be punished?
Samuel didn't put it that way. I think his message was that God can no longer trust Father, not in the role of king anyway.
Is he being dethroned?
I don't know. The prophecy wasn't clear.
Well, what did he say?
Samuel said that God would have established Father's reign forever, but because he broke God's law, his kingdom will not last. He said that the Lord has sought out a righteous man and appointed him to be the next ruler over Israel. And that's all he said, and he left.
Nothing about who the other man is?
Not a word. Believe me, Father tried asking questions, but Samuel was done talking.
So that's it? The end of story? Father's done?
No, I don't think so. There's a big difference between his kingdom not lasting and him getting immediately sacked.
But the Lord has already chosen his replacement.
Yes, but nothing was said about timing. There was no command to go home and pack our bags and make way for the new man. It was a prophecy, and I think we'll have to wait to see it fulfilled.
But for how long? Weeks? Months?
Years. Honestly, when I heard Samuel, I took him to mean that Father will stay king as long as he lives, but he won't have a dynasty. The Lord has chosen someone else, not to replace him, but to succeed him.
You mean someone other than you?
Exactly.
That just means you're being punished for Father's wrongdoing.
No.
Oh, that's not fair. No one would make a better king than you.
This is not about me.
Oh, it should be. You're already braver than Father and wiser.
Nicole, remember of whom you're speaking.
Why does he come home angry at you when it's his folly that's cost you the throne?
That's just how guilt works, Michal. If a man has injured someone, he wants to think of it as their fault.
You can't just sit here and take it.
What else is there to do?
You have to protest this. You have every right to.
Not all rights should be exercised.
What?
Oh, wait. I'll try to talk to her as well.
I'm sorry. She's too young. I shouldn't have said all that I did in front of her.
There's never been much affection between her and your father. What's your direction now, if you believe you're not to inherit the throne?
I don't know that it changes my role very much. It's always been my duty to honor and serve Father, and that won't change.
What about after he's gone?
I think it will still be my duty to serve the king. That's what I'm trained for, in battle, in council. If the Lord has chosen him, then the new heir is a noble man, and I hope I'll have the honor of serving him.
Your father won't appreciate that attitude.
I know. This has shattered his confidence, which means he'll be trying to shatter everyone else's for a while.
We have hard days ahead.
May God give us the strength to endure them. Ahijah, do you know where my father is?
The king is at the altar again, seeking the Lord's face.
Again? This is... Forgive me, but this is not usual behavior for father. He had never even built an altar anywhere until today.
He's acting on my advice. He wanted to press home his advantage and pursue the enemy tonight, but I urged him to draw near to God first. So he's been inquiring whether the Lord will give him the victory.
I see. Do you know why he summoned me?
God has not yet answered the king, and he's concerned.
Well, he's not sought him very long.
I agree. But he thinks he knows why God is silent. He thinks there was sin in the camp, and so he wants to cast lots to find the guilty man.
Of course there's been sin in the camp tonight. We had dozens of men eating meat with the blood in direct violation of the law until we put a stop to it.
The king thinks he made that right by building the altar where the men could kill their beast properly. But he thinks there was an earlier sin, someone who broke the oath that he made this morning.
Of course he does. I'm sure it doesn't cross his mind that his oath itself might have displeased God. The men would never have eaten with the blood if Father's vow hadn't left them weak with hunger.
Jonathan! Oh, I'm sorry. I haven't had the chance to properly congratulate you yet, but that was quite a show this morning. I've never seen a man pull the stunts you pull and live to tell the tale.
Well, someone had to do something, since Father wouldn't risk open battle.
Yes, but two men scaling that cliff and taking the entire camp? without backup. By any calculation, that should have been suicide.
Maybe calculations are overrated. I just knew that nothing could hinder the Lord if he chose to help us. And he did.
Well, you're a hero to the troops. Oh, Jonathan, you could have turned the tide of the war today. We drove them all the way to Ajalon.
So much more could have been done. We could have ended it today, Abner. We could have wiped them out once and for all. But the men just didn't have the strength. It was Father's senseless oath. Who starves their troops on the day of a battle? I mean, what part of that seemed like a good idea?
I think the king made the vow in hopes of winning the Lord's favor.
Exactly. He still thinks he can twist God's arm. That's not how it works. Commanding the men to fast just left them weak. So weak that they sinned when they finally were able to get their hands on some meat. It was folly, through and through.
Well, the king is convinced that God is not speaking now because someone didn't keep the fast. That's why he summoned you, Commander, to answer for your men.
Well, I had heard that some of the men had broken the oath, but unfortunately the men won't say who it was.
So, why did Father summon me?
I don't know.
I think I can guess. I'm the one who broke the oath. I hadn't heard anything about it until we were in the woods this afternoon, and I ate some honey I found. And then a man told me that Father had placed a curse on anyone who tasted food today. A bit too late. I would wager anything that Father knows I'm the transgressor.
How could he? My own men won't even tell me.
May God reward their loyalty to me, but that itself is a revelation. Father knows the men hold me in high esteem, and he would surmise I'm the one they're protecting. You said he wants to cast lots to find the guilty man?
Yes.
He wants to prove how holy he is.
Abner, thank you for coming. Perhaps Ahijah has informed you, but the Lord is not speaking. There has been a sin in the camp. I'm convinced, and it is my duty to find the man and put him to death. As the Lord lives, even though he be my own son, he must surely die. Now, Abner, you're responsible for the men. To your knowledge, has any man sinned? Come then. If you won't talk, let's ask the Lord. We will cast lots. Jonathan and I on one side, you and the army on the other.
Do as you deem right, my lord.
O God of Israel, why have you not answered your servant today? If the sin be in me, or in Jonathan, my son, give Urim. But if it is in your people Israel, give Thummim.
Yoram, my lord.
God has spoken. The army is guiltless. So be it. Cast the lot again between me and my son. Urim, if I have sinned. Thummim, if my son has. Death to the transgressor.
My lord.
Silence!
Thummim, my lord.
Jonathan, tell me what you've done.
I tasted honey from the tip of the staff I carried today. Put me to death.
I will. With God as my witness, may he do the same to me and more if I don't.
My lord, you must not kill this boy. Shall the man die who brought victory to our people?
Stand aside,
As the
Abner.
Lord lives, you must not kill him. This man has worked side by side with the Lord today. He's not the one who has displeased the Lord.
Fine. Fine. If you're all traitors, make me break my word.
You break nothing, my lord. I petition for his life. Declare him ransomed.
Fine. Fine. Ransomed. If you're all turncoats and traitors, it doesn't matter what I say.
Father,
Get out. Go to your own tents. We're finished here.
let me talk to you.
I said, get out, all of you. I have nothing more to say.
Why do you despise me?
Because you always surpass me without even trying. You're just a boy. And yet the people sing your praises. You don't ask for victory. And yet God gives it to you. You're told you won't even be king. And you act like you don't even care.
I don't want the throne.
What a lie!
I pray to God that I'm never given it. Because I've seen how it can change a man. 2 years is all it took, Father, to turn a righteous man into a fool. I'd sooner die than be a king like you.
Oh, come in.
Good morning.
Good morning, Judith.
I just put Simeon down for his nap, and I thought I'd come over and chat.
I'm so glad you did. Come sit.
Oh, thank you. Can I help with something?
Oh, that's all right. I'll just pause this so we can talk. So, is Simeon sleeping any better?
He is. Yes. It was just those top 2 teeth coming in, I think. But I think the pain's much less now.
Oh, good. Poor baby. They all have to go through it, don't they?
Yes, but you were right. It doesn't last forever. Thanks for reassuring me when I was in such a panic.
Well, it's not easy being a first-time mother. Well, at least from my observation. Thanks for listening to an old woman's advice.
Thank you. So, I came over here to be nosy because I heard something very strange through the grapevine. Well, from Shira, but there was a grapevine attached.
Oh, well, there always is.
So Shira said that Joab said that your husband came home from Jerusalem this week. And according to Joab, the rumor is that Zechariah is tongue-tied or something. Now, is that true, or did the grapes fall off the vine somewhere?
Well, Zechariah did come home the day after Sabbath, and yes, I suppose you could say he's tongue-tied. I don't think it's his tongue, strictly speaking, but he has no voice.
Is he hoarse? I mean, is he ill?
No, he seems fine otherwise. He just can't speak, and not even a whisper. I've never seen anything quite like it.
Well, is there no explanation? When did this happen?
There is an explanation. It's just a little hard to believe. I mean, I believe it, but I doubt most people will.
You have me so curious. If you prefer not to share, you won't offend me, but do you want to talk about it?
I don't mind telling you, but I think I'd prefer if it didn't go beyond you and Amos for now.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I'm sure more people will know eventually, but we're just trying to figure out what it means first.
Understood. So, did something happen in Jerusalem?
Yes. Okay, it was the turn of Zechariah's division to serve in the temple last week. So he went, and he was chosen by lot to be the one who offers incense in the holy place twice a day. And remarkably, in all his years as a priest, that role has never fallen to him. So he was greatly honored.
Yes.
But on the very first day, at least I think it was the first day, of course he's had to tell me the whole story in writing.
Oh, of course, I didn't even think of that.
There are so many details which I haven't been able to get yet, but at some point he was in the sanctuary burning incense, and a messenger of God came to him. I don't know if he just appeared or if he entered from the Holy of Holies. I have no idea. But he spoke to Zechariah and told him that the Lord has heard our prayers, and I am going to have a son.
Elizabeth!
We have not prayed that prayer for a long time.
Well, that's all right. I suppose God can answer whenever he's ready.
I just don't know if I'm ready for that anymore. Oh. I mean, I am. I'm grateful. I'm in awe. I'm still in shock.
Well, of course, that's not information you can process quickly.
And it's so kind of the Lord to give this blessing to us, to make this son a personal answer to our prayers. It amazes me because from what Zechariah has told me, this child will belong to a story much bigger than our own.
What do you mean?
Well, the messenger told Zechariah several things. He has it written down somewhere, but I think I have it memorized by now. He said that we and many others will rejoice at the child's birth because he will be great before the Lord.
Well, that sounds good.
It does. And what's more, the boy will be filled with the Holy Spirit of God even before he's born. And then this is the strangest part, I think. he quoted from the prophet Malachi, where it speaks of Elijah being sent. Zechariah was told that the child will turn many sons and daughters of Israel back to the Lord, and he will herald God's arrival in the power and spirit of Elijah, and will turn the hearts of fathers back to their children to make ready a people prepared for the Lord.
He said all that about your son?
My son.
Well, I'm not sure what any of that means.
Oh, neither am I, nor Zechariah. I mean, he's been reading and rereading the prophecies of Malachi, and poring over the whole Mikra, trying to make sense of all of this. I don't think he's going to do anything but study for a very long time.
Is there more in Malachi about Elijah?
Not really. I think Zechariah said there's one statement about a herald being sent to prepare a way for the Lord, but it's not much to go on. And he's not just studying the prophets. I mean, all the histories of barren women who gave birth. Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, Hannah.
Oh, you will be joining a noble lineage.
It's true. But we also realize there's no guarantee of when this will happen. I mean, Abraham was promised descendants 25 years before Sarah bore Isaac. I'd count myself lucky if I'm still alive in 25 years.
You have more than that left in you.
I don't know. You're pretty optimistic.
No. I think I might have just heard Simeon.
You have good ears.
Well, I might have imagined it, but I should just check. I'm so sorry. I'll come back as soon as I can, if that's all right. I've got so many more questions.
Oh, yes. Any time.
Just one quick one while I think of it. Do you know yet who you'll name the baby after?
Oh, actually, Zechariah was told to name him John.
John. Well, that's a good name. Are there any Johns in your family?
Not one.
So, why John?
I have no idea.
Interesting. Yes, that was definitely Simeon. I will come back as soon as I can.
All right. That's something he could search the scriptures for. Why John?
John is with them, right?
I think so.
Good. Father is so stiff as a host.
My dear?
He is. It's his pride and paranoia, if you ask me.
No one ask. Ephrath, this is lovely. Well done. You may go now. Your tongue has gotten very free in recent months.
Only about Father, and only since his deplorable behavior in the spring.
What gives you the right to deplore his behavior?
I have eyes, and I have wits to judge what I see.
Then keep your judgments to yourself. Moses said to honor fathers, and yours deserves as much respect as any.
Which should I rather sacrifice? Respect or truth?
Remember, Abner, he must not increase.
I understand.
Welcome home, Father. Where's the hero?
Hero? How does a shepherd boy get called that?
Oh, that's the least of his titles. David the Conqueror, David the Giant Slayer.
I've heard plenty. The people love to exaggerate. All throughout the streets, the cry goes up. Saul has slain his thousands, but David his tens of thousands. It's preposterous, really. I've been leading Israel into battle for 30 years, longer than he's been alive.
It's only talk, Father. Give him his moment of glory.
Glory is a heady draft. One good taste, and a man will never again be content serving others.
You must have drunk a whole flagon then.
So,
Even my own daughter mocks me. She prefers this herdsman, this nobody. People praise him like they've always praised Jonathan at my expense. What more can he have but the kingdom itself?
my lord, are you well? I can send...
Don't be absurd. I'm fine. But I won't stay here to be mocked. There's work to do.
Won't you at least stay to welcome the men?
I'm not in the humor.
John, welcome home.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back. Mother, this is the man who vanquished the Philistine giant, David, son of Jesse of Bethlehem.
The champion of Israel. You are most welcome.
Your servant is honored.
Oh, wait, don't I recognize you? Have you had audience with my father before?
Would you believe it? He's been a court musician. He's been summoned half a dozen times to play the kinnor for Father.
Oh, that's right. Well, in that case, you are a hero long before you killed the Philistine, because you are the only one who can cure Father when the evil spirits take him.
That is to say, the king's anxieties have increased in recent months since the war with the Amalekites.
But my lord the king triumphed mightily against them.
Yes, but the campaign has left a heavy weight upon his mind.
So, you're a psalmist and a soldier. What can't you do?
Your servant is only a humble man. I tend my father's flocks.
That itself is noble work, and has its dangers, too. Tell them about the beasts you fought.
Lions and bears at different times will come and try to take a lamb from my father's flock, and it's my job to protect them.
You fought bears and lions and killed them?
A few.
You should have heard him. When he offered to meet the Philistine in combat, no one... Forgive me, David, but no one took him seriously at first because of his youth. Father thought a seasoned warrior like Goliath would crush him in moments. But David just said that... Well, I don't need to tell. You tell them.
I just trust in the Lord. He's the one who delivered me from the lions and bears, and I believed he would give me the victory over Goliath. The Philistines were mocking the armies of the living God, and I did not believe the Lord would tolerate it.
You sound more like a holy man than a man of war. I wonder if old Samuel was like you in his youth.
Samuel, the prophet from Ramah?
Yes, have you met him?
Only once.
He's visited us a few times, though not recently. But you're here to stay, right?
I am, my lady. The king has honored me by taking me fully into his service.
As a musician or a warrior?
Both. Man of many talents. Father won't let any of them go to waste.
Yes, pardon me, but both of you are wanted in the women's quarters.
I see. Thank you. I hate to interrupt this, but I'm sure we'll have the opportunity to hear more about you later.
Oh, please, refresh yourself with food and drink. You've had a long journey.
Jonathan, you'll show him to his lodgings.
Yes.
Thank you. I hope you know that you are welcome in the king's house.
I'm in your debt, my lady.
As we are in yours, young warrior.
Come and eat something.
This is much finer than I'm used to.
Well, you'll have to start getting used to it.
Thank you.
So, tell me about the time you met Samuel.
What?
You said you met him once. When was that?
2 months ago.
Where?
In Bethlehem.
Why was a prophet in little Bethlehem?
He came to offer sacrifice, a peace offering, and gave us all to eat.
The whole village?
Well, my father and my brothers.
Did you get to talk to him?
Well, he talked to me.
Did he tell you that you're going to be Israel's next king?
How did you know that?
I've been looking for you for a very long time. Please, don't be afraid of me. I've known since I was young that I wouldn't succeed my father, and I've lived in hopes of serving the Lord's chosen one. Did Samuel anoint you in Bethlehem?
Yes, but how did you know it was me?
Your spirit is different. I know the Lord loves a humble man and loves to exalt him. And to see you in battle or to hear your music is to know the Lord is with you. And I don't resent you in the least, because no one can resent a friend. Is the friend of a bridegroom resentful at the marriage feast? No, there's only joy. Friendship leaves no room for resentment.
Where did you learn friendship like this? Because I've not ever had a friend like you. Even my own brothers resent me.
Anything I've learned, the Lord has taught me. Like you, I've only seen anger and envy between most men, even family. When I was young, I just knew that I didn't want to follow the examples set before me. But the Lord has been good to me. He's shown me what real faithfulness and kindness look like.
May God make me as good a friend to you as you're being to me right now.
Will you be a friend to my father as well? He is foolish and sinful, and God has said that he regrets making him king, but he was a good man once, and God seems to be allowing him to reign as long as he lives. Would you not become his enemy out of respect and friendship?
I have no desire to be your father's enemy, and the prophet gave me no reason to think I should try to challenge him. I may be the Lord's anointed, but so is he. May he live long and prosper.
You're a man after God's own heart, and I'm honored to know you. Here, this is rightly yours.
What? No.
These are the vestments of Saul's heir. And that's not me, it's you. With God as my witness, I pledge to you my friendship and my service, to you and your house, to the end of my days.
And I promise you, Jonathan, in the name of the Lord, that I will honor your father and I will be your friend. And may there always be peace between your house and mine.
right, the clothes are drying. You have water from the well. Are you sure there's nothing else I can do for you?
I'm positive. Thank you, Judith. You're such a help.
Oh, it's the least I can do. You did the same and more for me when I was expecting Simeon.
Well, I do appreciate it. Oh, before you go, let me give you back that lamp I borrowed.
Oh, it's no matter. Don't trouble yourself.
Oh, it's fine. It's just in here. I think, well, that's odd.
Oh, it's fine. I can get it tomorrow. I actually need to hurry home.
Oh, I am so sorry. I don't know where I put it.
Please, don't worry. Would you like me to answer the door?
Oh, yes, please. I'll be right there.
All right. Hello?
Is Elizabeth bought Ezra at home?
She is. Yes, yeah, feel free to come in. I'm actually just on my way out, but she's in the next room.
All right. Thank you.
Of course. I'll see you tomorrow, Elizabeth.
All right. Take care.
Elizabeth?
Oh,
It's your niece, Mary, from Nazareth.
my son jumped when he heard your voice. Oh, blessed are you among women, and blessed is the son you will bear. Who am I that the mother of my Lord should visit me? Happy are those who trusted that the Lord will fulfill his promises.
Oh, my soul magnifies the Lord who brings me joy, because he has seen me in my insignificance. From now on, every generation will call me blessed, for the mighty God, whose name is holy, has done great things for me. He lavishes his kindness on those who fear him in every generation. His arm is strong. He scatters the proud and exalts the humble. He satisfies the hungry and sends the rich away empty. He has helped his servant Israel, remembering the mercy he promised to Abraham and his children forever.
God has been so good to us.
Do you know everything that's happened to me?
No, nothing. I just knew at the sound of your voice, and my son knew that you are carrying our Lord.
Then you know this is from God.
Oh, yes. Who but God can work miracles? Of course, it's from God.
I thought if anyone believed me, you would. The angel told me of your condition and said that nothing is impossible with God.
So you met a messenger of God? So did Zechariah. We are living in a wondrous story.
I was frightened at first when the angel spoke to me, but he talked with such authority that I believed him.
What did he say?
What didn't he say? I mean, it was brief, but it was beyond my imagination. He told me I would have a son who would be called the Holy Son of God. And the Lord will give him the throne of David his father, and he will rule the house of Israel with no end to his kingdom.
Oh, Mary, I thought my son was the greatest blessing God could give me, but he showers gift after gift. Son of David and Son of God. Why do I have the honor of hearing this news?
Why do I have the honor of bearing it? Of bearing him? I'm so humbled. And I've never felt so sustained by God. I've had to trust him, Elizabeth, with everything in me. These last few days, I've been drowning in questions and fears, but the Lord is carrying me. I'm so unworthy.
Oh, Mary. He will see this through to the end. I know many things seem impossible, but what did the messenger say? With God, nothing is impossible.
How can I expect anyone to believe I haven't broken my betrothal?
Don't expect. Just trust the one who set you on this journey. If God can give a son to a maiden or to an old woman, then he can keep you from dishonor. If your betrothed needs a sign from heaven to be assured of your innocence, the Lord can give it to him. Or maybe God has another plan entirely, but it will be a good one.
I believe that. I just needed to hear it. Thank you.
Can you stay with us for a while? The first few months can be hard, and here, away from home, you'd have some time to ready yourself for the role you've been given.
Well, that was one of my hopes in coming here. I didn't know what to do, but I prayed you would understand my situation.
Oh, of course. I'm so glad you came. You stay with us for as long as you like.
Thank you so much. Honestly, though, I didn't come just to get help, but to offer it as well. I'm sure there are many things I could do for you during this time. I was so thrilled to hear your news. How are you doing?
Well, the Lord loves surprises, but I've been well once I got over the first shock of the news.
And the baby's well?
Well, he is certainly active. Oh, my, the energy of this boy. I shouldn't be surprised. We were told he'd have the power and spirit of Elijah. So
He may turn out to be a handful.
I hope so. I hope he's fearless. His mission is to herald the coming of the Lord, so he'll need to be.
The angel didn't tell me anything about your son, only that you were expecting, so he's to herald the Lord?
Yes, and he already knows it. He leaped for joy when the two of you came in.
Is he to be a priest like Zechariah?
I don't think so. A prophet, more like. I don't think he'll be anything like his father or me.
Does that disappoint you?
No. Oh, no. I want him to surpass us. I hope he's braver and wiser. I feel just like Hannah did, the prophet Samuel's mother. For this child I have prayed, and beyond my expectation, God has given him to me, and I want nothing more than to give him back fully into the Lord's service. My son will serve yours, Mary, and he could have no higher calling.
I was told what to name the baby. It seems like a small thing, but I'm so glad I won't have to choose. How could I give a name to the Son of God?
We were given a name as well. Isn't that remarkable? God cares about names.
What is your son to be called?
John. What about yours?
Jesus.
John. I was hoping to find you alone.
What's going on?
I've been wanting to talk with you all day, but I just couldn't get the chance.
Is there trouble?
So much trouble. It's Father and David.
Tell me.
This past month, while you were in Hebron, things just collapsed. Father's evil mood came over him again, and he has set himself against David. He tried to kill him, Jonathan, twice while you were gone.
Do you think the mood will pass?
Well, I'd like to hope so, but it is different this time. At first, it just seemed like a fit of temper, which is bad enough. Father actually hurled a spear at him, but then it escalated.
David told me that he had to flee to Ramah for a few days.
Yes, have you already talked with him?
Briefly, right when I got back. He told me that Father was trying to kill him, but I was hoping he was being a little paranoid.
He's not. 3 weeks ago, he had to sneak out of the palace by night. He went to the prophet Samuel for help, but Father found out that he'd went to Ramah, and he sent men to bring him back by force. Although, they did get a welcome they weren't expecting.
Did David fight them off?
No, they came into the prophet's presence, and the Spirit of the Lord came over them, and they began prophesying. Father was furious. He sent more men and more again, and all of them were overtaken by the spirit of prophecy. And then, if you'll believe it, Father went himself, and he prophesied.
Father prophesied?
I don't know what he said, but some kind of spirit entered him, and I guess he started babbling. It sounds like he made a fool of himself, took off his robes, and looked like a prophet from the wilderness.
I wonder if all of that was the Lord's doing.
I don't know about that. I just know Father is going stark raving mad. I mean it.
How much of that is the mind losing its grip, and how much is the soul?
It means the same thing for David, either way. He's not safe here anymore.
Are you sure? It sounds like things have been quieter now for a few days.
David's just been staying out of sight.
But Father knows he's come back from Ramah, right? And he hasn't been hostile to him. Maybe the dark mood has passed.
I can't decipher Father anymore. His moods change in an instant. He may seem calm now, but I know he is consumed with hatred. I'm serious. He hates David.
Will this never end? I had to deal with this once before, you know. A couple of years ago, after one of the Philistine conflicts, Father was so jealous of all the praise David was getting that he actually told some of us to find an opportunity to kill him. I was so angry. But that time, I was able to talk Father out of it. I reasoned with him, calmed him down, and he promised he would leave David be.
So much for a promise from Father.
Maybe I can persuade him again. I know it might not last long, but
you can't change him, John. Father is what he is. A lunatic, a rejected king, and a failure to his family. Your whole life you've wanted to redeem him, but you can't.
Are you saying I shouldn't want to help him?
I'm just saying you shouldn't waste your life on a lost cause.
I may be wrong, Michal, and it's quite possible that I'm a fool. But I believe I still have a duty to both kings whom the Lord has chosen. I'm working to prepare the way for David, but in the meantime, I won't stop trying to turn Father's heart.
He won't be turned.
So be it. I'm still willing to die trying.
Well, quite frankly, I've given up on Father, and I'm a little bit more concerned about David's safety right now.
I'm working on that as well. We came up with a simple plan. I'm going to test Father tonight and try to learn what he's thinking. Hopefully, his anger has cooled, and David's going to be fine, at least for a while.
And if not?
If Father is still at odds with him, then I think he should leave for the time being. Make himself scarce, hide in the hills, until it's safe to return without danger.
So he'll be a fugitive?
Maybe. For a while. I think they're coming for the banquet.
Oh, I am not in Father's good graces right now. We'll have to talk more later.
Jonathan, I was wondering where you've been. You should have been with us for the sacrifice.
I'm sorry, Mother. I was preoccupied.
It's no matter. The meat's ready now and we can enjoy it together. It seems a long time since you sat at the table with us.
It has been. But at least I made it back for the new moon. I didn't want to miss the peace offering.
It's one less empty seat.
Yes. Why isn't the son of Jesse at the table? Why hasn't he been at the meal the last 2 days?
David asked permission to go to Bethlehem for a few days. His clan holds a sacrifice in the city, and his brother asked him to be there. Of course, I told him he could go.
You told him he could go?
Is there a problem?
Jonathan, you and your friendship with that reprobate. I'm trying to get rid of him. For your sake. Can't you see, you fool?
For my sake?
You child of a perverse woman. Don't I know you've chosen the son of Jesse to your own shame and the shame of the mother that bore you? As long as he lives, you and your kingdom can never be established. Abner, go find the son of Jesse. Bring him to me. I'll kill him myself.
Why? Why should he die? What wrong has he ever done?
I'll kill you too.
No! Madness! I have chosen David. And in spite of you, the kingdom will be his someday. With my blessing. I'm your son, but so help me I'm not your heir.
Jonathan.
No! No!
Will you go back to Ramah?
I can't put Samuel in danger again.
Samuel's an old man, but he's not powerless. The Lord is his ally.
True. And with God on his side, what can man do to him? Still, I think Ramah will be the first place your father will look for me.
Where then?
I'm not sure. I was thinking I could head south or towards the coast. I'll have to wander because a straight path will be too easy to track.
Is there anyone you know who'd give you refuge?
Very few whose hands I'd put my life into.
What about the high priest? He's a righteous man.
He might help me.
Here. You'll be hard-pressed to find the likes of these elsewhere.
Thanks.
You have enough food for, 5 days?
A week at a stretch.
There's not much to be found in the wild this time of year.
True. I'm thinking, if I can get away from the palace, I could take employ under a warlord somewhere. I was thinking maybe Achish of Gath.
I'd trust Ahimelech a lot sooner than Achish.
True, but anyone who helps me will become your father's enemy if they aren't already. I don't want to cause hostility between the king and the high priest. I've already divided the king and his son.
That was not your doing. It started long before we even met you.
But I dealt the final stroke.
You have only served my father faithfully. There's nothing to blame yourself for.
But now you're in danger because of me. Your father just tried to kill you. What if he finds out you're helping me escape?
I would gladly give my life for yours. And I don't want you to worry about me. When Father's in his right mind, he knows he needs me.
But what about when he's not in his right mind?
I'll watch my back. And I'll keep watching yours as well. Anytime I get the chance to hinder Father's schemes against you, I will. I'll be your inside man.
You've already done so much for me.
Enough of that. I've only done what friends do. And when it comes to my father, I haven't quite given up hope on him. My hope is faint, I admit. Fainter than ever now. But I have to keep trying to restore him.
You're a noble man.
And so was he once. God defend me from becoming the kind of man he now is. But years ago, he was humble and wise. And on occasion, I get glimpses of that. In his fear, I can sometimes see the old meekness. And in his cunning, a remnant of wisdom. If there's any chance he can be reclaimed, I have to try.
If anyone can change him, you can.
You need to get on the road.
I'll put some miles between me and Gibeah.
If I ever learn of your whereabouts and I can get away in secret, I'll come meet with you. Only God knows when that might be possible, but I'll watch for an opportunity.
And someday, when the king's on the warpath somewhere, I'll take my chances and slip in here for a visit.
We'll see each other again, one way or another. May God be with you, as he has been with my father. And I affirm the covenant I made with you when we first became friends.
So do I. I swear by our friendship that I will always be faithful to you and to your house. And when your father's days are over and the Lord has taken vengeance upon my enemies, I will not cut you off.
You will rule over Israel, and I will stand by you. No, David, you are my Lord the King. I should be on my knees before you, and here you are bowing to me.
Permit me, Jonathan. This is fitting. No other man would treat his rival the way that you've treated me.
You're my brother, David. I grieve with your losses and rejoice with your victories. And what will make my joy complete is to see my friend take his rightful place as Lord of this kingdom. It seems a far hope now. But one day, David, one day, every knee will bow and every tongue proclaim that you are the anointed one of God. That's the day I'm waiting for.
You're the best of men.
Go in peace, because we've sworn in God's name, and the Lord will be between us forever.
market, just like you said.
Well, good. The first of the season.
Yes. I think I'll be able to eat them and enjoy it.
I hope so. The sickness is fading, right?
I think so. I didn't feel quite right yesterday, but I was fine for 2 or 3 days before that.
I hope you stay well on your journey.
I'll be all right. And there are women in the caravan to help me if I need it. More importantly, you need to take care of yourself. You promised to let Judith do everything she offers to do.
I promise.
It's your turn to be served. You've got to take things very easy for a few weeks at least.
I will. Believe me, I feel my age. It's hard enough for a young woman to recover from childbirth.
I'm so glad the caravan didn't leave last week. Otherwise, I would have missed meeting John. I can go home more easily knowing you're both healthy and well looked after.
Everyone is so kind. They're so happy for us after all these years.
The Lord is good to those who wait for him.
That is true. My only anxiety now is for Zechariah.
Still no voice.
I thought the messenger said Zechariah would speak again once the promise of our son was fulfilled, but maybe I misunderstood.
Maybe tomorrow, when he is named, then the promise will be fulfilled.
Or maybe John's whole life is the promise. I mean, we've wondered if Zechariah will stay silent to the end of his days, perhaps. If John's life, more than his birth, is the true promise. From his study of the Mikra, Zechariah believes that John will fulfill Isaiah's prophecy of a voice crying in the wilderness to prepare a way for the Lord. If Zechariah must lose his voice for John to gain his, that's a small sacrifice.
So is John to be a prophet?
He'll be the Lord's herald. He'll be like Elijah, but what that will look like, I don't know. Of course, he'll be a Nazirite from birth and won't drink wine or cut his hair or touch the dead. He'll be consecrated like Samson was, and Samuel.
And he'll be loud too, if his first week is any indication. That befits a prophet.
I suppose so. And what will your son be like, I wonder?
I hardly dare imagine. Maybe he'll be like his ancestor, King David. But beyond that, I've tried to not even guess.
Oh, that reminds me. Did Zechariah show you the prophecy he found in the Nevi'im, in the books of Samuel? He copied it for me. It's on the table.
Oh. This?
Yes, thank you. This is a proclamation from the Lord to King David, and Zechariah was so struck by it when he read it, since he remembered God's messenger echoing some of these words to you. Yes. The Lord told David, "When your days are fulfilled and you lie down with your fathers, I will raise up your offspring after you, who will come from your body, and I will establish his kingdom. He will build a house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. I shall be his father, and he shall be my son."
Is that not speaking of King Solomon?
Yes, and of one greater than Solomon. Solomon's kingdom did not last forever, as your sons will.
It's still so strange to play a part in such a story.
I know. It's beyond us, and that's frightening, but maybe there's some comfort in it too.
God began this, and he will sustain it.
And he will bring it to a perfect fulfillment. Oh, hello, Judith.
I'm so sorry. A man and his wife came to my house looking for you, Mary. They say the caravan's leaving.
Oh, thank you.
Should I tell them you're coming?
Yes, please.
All right.
It's so hard to leave.
Oh, it's all right. Oh. Thank you for spending these months with me.
Thank you for letting me. It's been a gift. I wish we didn't live so far apart.
We will meet again sometime.
I pray so. Give the baby a kiss for me when he wakes up.
Oh, I will.
The Lord be with you.
And with you, Mary.